Hey, how you doing, dude?
Evans, what are you, a pirate today?
Oh, geez, I don't even barely want to talk about it. You're gonna love this one. Hold on.
Something to do with your acting class last week, or
First, my cousin. He has lupus, and that
okay?
kicked off when he was in his teens, his early teens. He's been fighting it his whole life, and
Oh,
so yeah, and so they had to take him, airlift him from to Pittsburgh, a hospital. He's in the hospital right now. That's all I know. I don't have
oh
any.
man, dude.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I was like, oh, I really hope this isn't the end. I've been to one uh funeral this year. I don't need another one. I just don't, you know. So there's that. Went back in for my cancer check because I have to go in every quarter or so often, blah, blah, blah. They found some spots on my head.
You've had cancer this whole time?
Yeah.
Is that benign, or they had to remove skin cancer?
Skin cancer is a melanoma. They had to remove it. Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah. I have 2 surgeries to have the damn thing gone. Yeah. It's about that big.
so they had to what? Shave your head and then start going.
Well, basically now what I get to do is every quarter, every 3 months, I get to go in, get naked in front of a whole bunch of strangers, not get paid for it. And then they go over my entire body with a friggin' magnifying glass. And there's parts of my body I don't want you looking at with a magnifying glass. That's just mean. That's just plain mean. Am I right? Hell yes. And so,
Well, as long as they don't cut anything that's supposed to
and that's
grow.
what they did today. They had to remove a couple, and they were making like little pin pricks to see if they could go down. So I've got like 2,500 pinholes in my head now. And so they had to
Yo,
wrap it all up. And so I've got this great big friggin' babushka of a bandage on my head.
oh man,
So they put this bandana over it so that I don't know, feel so, I don't know. I was like, black, really? I kind of feel like one of those stupid idiot Muslims with the little knot head things, you know? And I'm
oh,
like, come on, you got a different color, please? How about red or blue? You got that? They went, no, this is New York. We do not have red or blue. Ah,
oh, actually, yeah.
oh,
We don't want any misinterpretations.
yeah. I'm going to be the equal opportunity token of the Bloods and Crips, right? It's
Well,
going to be,
black is probably the most neutral color there is. So,
there you go.
dude, I'm so sorry to hear that, though. I'm like, this has been one heck of a day, man.
Yes, yes, it has.
At least you got your enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's going to be whatever it's going to be. He's been fighting with this for a very long time. This is the very first time that he's had to be airlifted. We don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out. He finally, there was something about the men in my family. I don't know what it is. They cannot do marriage correctly first time around.
Really?
I don't know why. It's written right there in the freaking Bible. All you got to do is read the damn thing, black and white, boom, right there, tells you how to do it. Step by step, not that hard, right? And we humans just fuck it up to absolutely no end. It's incredible, right?
Can't disagree.
Yeah. So he married this girl now, my cousin, great guy,
Mhm.
outdoorsman, survivalist. I'm sure that if he didn't have lupus, he'd be one of those doomsday kind of guys, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, guaranteed. But he's got lupus, so he can't be. He got kicked out of the club. But he likes to hunt, likes to fish, likes to camp, loves being outside, blah, blah, blah.
does he
Well,
have like a YouTube channel or anything? Kind of
I
like,
don't think so. No. He's really not a big tech guy.
just record them, mentorship style. Just throw it out there.
Hey, not getting involved. Not getting involved. Not my business. So he met this girl and they got married way too soon. And everybody told him, do not marry her. She's not right. She's gorgeous, 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 right? And blonde hair, blue eyes, just gorgeous. There's no two other ways to describe her, you know? But gorgeous chicks really don't like getting dirty in the woods and sleeping on the ground and blah, 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 right? And she didn't want to go hunting. And she didn't like the idea of, catching a fish and cutting its head off and gutting it and going to scaling this. Yeah, I'll just go to the store and buy a fish or restaurant. And what she usually made for dinner was reservations, So Yeah, she is not domesticated by any stretch of the imagination. And they had one kid, one daughter, and the daughter turned out to be just like mom. She's just an absolute princess, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But no, she only wants the finer things in life, and she doesn't want to have to put forth very much effort to get them. Right. So that
Uh,
marriage fell apart, and it was a mess. It was a mess. And she kept, when she found out that he had lupus, she tried to create as much stress and anger in his life as possible to get it to kick up and kill him. And that way she would get the insurance money.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, criminy.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And the rest of the family, nobody ever said, I told you so. We all told them so, but nobody said, I told you so.
You don't want to, yeah, you don't want to like put salt on a wound.
Not that wound.
Oh, that poor
Plenty of
guy.
other wounds, but not that one.
Yo, that's just sad, man.
Yeah. So they finally got divorced years ago. He got remarried. Love of his life. Those two just get along like you wouldn't believe.
Good.
So now the thing is, he knew both girls, knew them all through high school.
Right.
He just chose the gorgeous one over the good Matt. What the hell? So
That's just I don't understand women, but it's like I feel like 100 years ago we actually had real men as well as because they were raised by real women.
yeah. Well, it takes men to make men. Steel sharpens steel. And I was actually reading an article years ago when I thought about getting back into the dating scene. And 30 some odd years ago, the main complaint that women had about men was that we were business oriented, we're working toward our future, we're goal oriented, we're not emotional, we don't get along, blah, 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 blah. You know, we're all the strong silent types, blah, 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 blah. Today, number one complaint that women have about men, there aren't any men. Men have been so feminized with this Justin Bieber crap that, yeah, we're wearing makeup and earrings and long hair. And when a girl cries on your shoulder, she does not want you crying into her hair. Women like men. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I was watching The Quiet Man today, and I think John Wayne had a bit of I guess he had a bit of a reputation, but I kind of like the characters he played, not for nothing.
Yep.
All right, a lot of people are jumping on the call. What's going on, everybody?
Who cares?
What's
We're
up?
all-
Yo, hello. Glad to see everyone.
Yes, sir. Good to see you.
How you been? What's new? What's going on?
Oh man, today was a day. I don't even want to dive into it. Let's just say I just got home at 6. I'll go into it. Fuck it. Short story. I
Sure.
went because I got to go to Atlanta tomorrow for a voiceover conference.
Right.
So I went to go get my dad's truck oil changed. So that's ready for a 6-hour drive. And I ain't got nothing to do, whatever. I ain't got nothing to worry about while I'm driving. Well, I got the oil changed, and then after I get the oil changed, I don't get even half a mile down the road, and it stalls. Turned it off, turned it back on. Like, all right. I got to the grocery store, it was fine. As soon as I got back out the grocery store, stalled again. Got it home, decided I'll deal with it when I get home. I'm just going to get a rental car. So we went to go get the rental car. Well, on our way back from getting the rental car, my wife decided to stop off at Dollar General. When she went to go, after she got the groceries, went to go start the car would not start.
The rental?
Oh no, the van.
Van.
Our van. We got 4 boys, so we need a van.
Yeah.
So would not start. So I took the rental to then Dollar General to try to jump her car, see what was wrong. Nothing was happening. I'm like, all right, maybe the battery's just dead. Let me go to AutoZone. Well, I don't have any tools on me, so I didn't take the battery out first. Went to the AutoZone. They didn't have the mid-grade, so I didn't want to get the shitty battery. I'm like, all right, I guess I got to get the $250 battery. All right. Got that. brought it back. I said, oh, for shits and giggles, let's see if it starts. You know what? It started. So the good news is it started, but literally I've been on the road with all that back and forth. Then went to go return the battery, got back home, ate, and now it's 7:30. So since 9 this morning, that's been my day. So it's
You know
been
what
fun, eventful.
So meanwhile,
And
there
I
was-
still have to get ready for fucking Atlanta because I haven't had the time today. I've been dealing with cars.
yeah, don't drive. And were there groceries in the car this whole time?
No, I got the groceries home with the truck.
Man,
Yeah,
You know what it sounds like? Sounds like
eventful. It's the universe testing me, making sure I want to go to this voiceover conference.
there you
how
go.
bad do you want it, man?
Yeah,
It
basically.
sounds like somebody put a rubber balloon in your gas tank.
I think it might have been my wife's key fob ran out of battery, so it's like locked into the anti-theft
Oh,
system and wouldn't let it crank it.
okay, that might be it.
Yeah. No, everything's fine. Everything's back home. So just now I got to get ready for Atlanta.
Very well. Be right back. Got to grab some chow.
So what is it? Some sort of convention for voiceover coaches?
Yeah, it's just like a more, I'm using it. You can use it as connection based. I'm going to still network and get to know people that are in the industry. But I'm going to use it for an education purposes. There's a lot of seminars going on during the time teaching you how to be a better voiceover actor and how to market yourself and different things like that. I actually paid for an extra session to help me figure out how to get in the business of sound alikes and impersonations. So we'll see where that goes. It'll be nice. Yeah.
Go for it. Why not?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I think you're doing something right. And where are you based out of?
North Carolina. So it's like a 6-hour drive.
All right.
It's not bad.
Not too terrible. I've made that trip going all the way down to Atlanta, all the way from New York, but
Yeah, that's a little bit more.
yeah, that's fun.
What,
18.
18?
Yeah, I mean, I got there under 16, but
Okay.
that was back in what, 2014 and 15. I made that trip 2 or 3 times. Got to be in it to win it.
Yes, sir.
Got some new faces in tonight. What's going on, guys?
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Shalom, did you try to sign on an hour ago?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
My
I thought I
mistake.
saw that. I'm like, is it 7 o'clock? No way.
Yeah. No, I was trying to send the link to Gary. So I just wanted to make sure I had the right link.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
Was he able to find it all right?
Yeah, I sent it to him. You know, he should be on soon.
Oh, no worries. All right, guys night. I'm surprised Melissa's not here tonight.
I filled my escort with diesel the other day. She died.
Is that the joke of the night?
Okay, fine, not that good. They can't all be winners.
No, I guess not. Oh, good times. All right, well, 7:39. I guess we could keep tradition, go around the horn, introduce ourselves. For those of you joining us for the first time, or if this is your second, third, or fourth time coming back, you already know the drill. Everybody kind of raises their hand and we introduce ourselves one at a time, who you are, what do you do, maybe how you found out about us, the Astoria Filmmakers Club. You can tell a good story or a really good joke, and normally I kick us off. So here we go. How's it going, everybody? My name's Phil Capadora. I'm the founder of the Astoria Filmmakers Club, and we started a weekly meetup in person back in August of 2019. And it was basically literally just intended to be a space where honestly, you just meet up, start shaking some hands and see who in the neighborhood is a filmmaker, actor, producer, what have you not. So rumor always been that the majority of the people in the industry happen to live in Astoria, Queens. So that was my motive behind even starting the club. And after several months, over 100 people had shown up. So started collecting a little bit of information, starting to just pick everybody's brain on what do they want? What do they want to do? And creating content was like the most common interest amongst everybody. So I kind of proposed putting together a nonprofit. And sure enough, throughout the pandemic, incorporated in February, ran a podcast for the majority of the pandemic, got our 501c3 status in September of 2020. And this past year, just patiently trying to just wait out the pandemic, we got approved with the New York State Charities Bureau. So we're green lit, we're ready to go. I guess I have a really quick announcement because we might have actually, hit a decent home run today, or at least got on base. For those of you who know Rocky, he's been in the mix since Christmas. Shalom definitely knows him. He introduced me to one of his good associates. His name's Scott, and Scott's a bit of an inventor of sorts. He created a whole program, I believe himself, where he could actually subscribe visually or audibly. So back in like 2019, we were always talking about creating content, and we didn't want to limit it to just filmmaking. We wanted to include some sort of platform for original audio. So you could actually work, I guess, synergetically with composers and your feature film to try to create a well-rounded piece. So when Scott and Rocky and I were talking this afternoon, we talked a little bit about an old idea called AFC Tunes. It's very, I don't want to say it's similar to iTunes, because since we're moving forward with the podcast play platform to really showcase the work we want to produce visually, we need a platform, ideally, to show the public and share what type of movies, pilots, or short films are in development. So he's actually kind of putting something together at the moment to create like a beta on how we could probably showcase all the work, raise funds to keep on producing work. And I was just dabbing. I'll show you guys a graphic, but I created just a logo called AFC Tunes just for fun because I was in creative flow. And keep that in your thoughts and prayers, because honestly, I think he could pull it off. And I think it's going to be a very positive tool to pretty much to just launch everything we intend to do in this industry. More of a ministry. Oh, Melissa just popped up. So that was my little announcement. Evan's been around probably the longest out of everybody here. So Evans, I will pass it on to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Evans from Micah, and I just washed my hair and I can't do a thing with it. That's what it is. I'll go with that one right now. I had, I don't know if all of you know or not, but I'm a cancer survivor. It was a melanoma. It was skin cancer. It was nothing that huge or dangerous. 2 surgeries, done. It's gone. It's over with. But I have to go back and get checked now because I'm retired military. So every 3 months I have to go in. And they found something on my head. And so they removed 2 pieces of skin from my head, and then they drilled about 1,000 fucking little holes into my head trying to find something. I'm like, well, if you're looking for anything valuable, it's not up there. I'm telling you, So I've got this huge bandage on my head right now, and they covered it with this bandana so that I don't feel conspicuous or something. I was like, black? Really? Come on. You got a different color. How about red? How about blue? You got that? And they freaked out. No, this is New York. We do not give out red or blue. Why? Why? And, Crips and Bloods. Didn't even think about it. Hey, I could be the equal opportunity EEO person for the Crips and Bloods. There you go. Hey, one with red and blue. Hey, they didn't have rainbow, so I'm pretty happy about that. I didn't get that one. So there you go. And that's where I'm at now. I'm an actor. I'm represented on both coasts. I'm trying to get, I'm seriously looking at moving from New York to Georgia, the Atlanta area, for a ton of reasons. Not least of which is this homeless issue that's starting to really get bad out here. I was in California, and I'm sure you've heard how bad it is out there now. New York is where California was several decades ago, and they're going down the same path. So I don't want to be part of it. I just don't want to be part of it. Happy to leave. No worries. All right. How about my namesake, Evan? Go for it, big man.
All right, how you guys doing? My name is Evan Richards. I'm a voice actor out of North Carolina. First got started with the Story of Filmmakers Club back in, I don't know, probably about 2-3 months ago now. Was contacted by Phil through Backstage, and been trying to come to as many meetings ever since. I will tell a joke, which is kind of like a story. So there's 3 hunters sitting at a bar. It's hunting season. They go out and decide to come back week after week to show everybody what they got. So the first hunter comes back. He has deer jerky he has venison jerky for everybody. They're like, "Oh man, this is so good. How'd you get the deer?" He said, "I saw tracks, followed tracks, boom, shot the deer." Next week, the second hunter comes back, has this nice bear skin fur coat. He says, every other 2 said, "Wow, that's so nice. How'd you get that?" Said, "Saw tracks, followed tracks, boom, shot the bear." The next week, the third hunter came back, and he's in a wheelchair. He's got casts all over his body. The other 2 were trying to figure it out. What happened? They said, what the fuck happened, man? Well, saw tracks, followed tracks, boom, got hit by a train.
I was waiting for that. Yes. Good one.
Does this work now?
And I will pick Gustav.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe. How about Mario?
Hello. Hey everyone, I'm Mario Duran Araujo. I'm mainly a director. My main passion is directing, but I have done a lot of things, including editing, acting, anything that needs to be done, to be honest. Right now, I'm working on a lot of projects, mainly private, but one of my passion projects that you are going to hear a lot is a fan film about Black Panther. It's very exciting for me because I think it's a very interesting story. I have been working on it for a couple of years, and I'm finally finishing it. And I'm very happy because Evan and Melissa have worked with me, and I finally shot their scene, so it's almost done. I think it's about a month and a half to go to editing, and it's going fine. So I'm very happy about it, and you're going to be the first one to watch it when it's ready. Well, I learned from this group by Film Freeway, and I have a joke. What did the baseball glove say to the ball? Catch you later. I know it's a very bad joke, but I had to tell a joke. So I'm going to pass it to Melissa, please.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm in Baltimore and recently retired from academia and athletics coaching. I retired from a few years ago, and I came to the club via Backstage. I got an invitation from Phil. I'm looking to do voiceovers, small roles in films or shows. I was amazed at all the opportunities are out there, and just spent this past weekend. I got a part in a student film, short film, and we shot all but one scene this past weekend. So I learned a lot. It was a great learning experience. And I do not have a joke tonight, and I don't know who's gone already because I signed in late here. So, and I don't see any hands up.
Put your hand up.
Anybody got it? Who hasn't gone yet? Don't all rush at once.
Let's see, Pablo, Shalom, or Gary.
How about Shalom?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Melissa. Hi, everyone. My name is Shalom O'Neill. I'm a stand-up comedian, writer, and actor.
You'll have a joke.
And joke. I got to, okay. It's kind of a setup. I got to set it up a bit. But Gary knows this one. He saw me perform it in Long Island. I lost my job because of the vaccine mandate. The week I got fired, this guy from HR told me that I should get fired because I didn't take the vaccine. That same Friday, the guy from HR had to have his blood taken for the COVID antibody. Turns out he's definitely afraid of needles. So he asked for the best phlebotomist in the clinic. Guess who they sent him to? So when he showed up, oh man, I'm forgetting it a little bit. Okay, when he showed up, he was when he showed up, I was very, very happy that he showed up. Oh man, I'm butchering the joke. I was very happy that he showed up. We have a needle that's the size of a straw. You know, I'm not afraid of needles. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, what the hell? So I know he's gonna shit himself. So I take what I'm gonna use, I go back to my patient, and then I draw his blood with the pediatric needle.
There you go.
He didn't feel anything. He even thanked me afterwards. Then later on that evening, they fired me, and that was that. I did hear that he tested positive for HIV not too long afterwards, which I have no idea how that happened, but you know, that's another story.
There you go. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Vengeance. Success is the best vengeance. So little Johnny moves to a new town. And it's a really teeny town. I mean, it's small. They had to close the zoo because the duck died. That kind of small, right? Anyway, he's sitting at lunch one day, and in the lunchroom, some kid yells out, 33, and everybody starts laughing really hard. And then another kid yells out, 14, and another kid, everybody starts laughing. Oh, John, what's so funny? And one of the kids at his table says, well, we're such a small town that in the library, we only have one joke book. Everybody's read it. We all know the jokes. So we just yell out the page number, and everybody laughs. Oh. So that day, Johnny goes out and grabs that book, and he goes through it to see if he can find a joke that he thinks would be funny. And he finds a couple. So he goes out there, and during lunchtime, you know, somebody yells out this, everybody laughs. Somebody yells out that, everybody laughs. He yells out 12, nobody laughs. 18, nobody laughs. 25, nobody laughs. What the hell? How come nobody's laughing? Because the table goes, some people can't tell a joke. All right. They can't all be winners. They can't all be winners.
Okay. We're making progress, guys. Real progress. I love it.
Who would be next? Yeah. Gary, where you at?
Hello, everyone. I'm late today because I couldn't get the Zoom to work because I don't have Facebook, and my phone, I can't get email on because I forgot the password. And I get the joke is you lose your password for Google or any of these, you're absolutely, you know, FK'd. So that's the joke of the day. Now, what I'm doing is I'm rewriting this spec script for 2 Chinas. I'm about the beginning of the 3rd act. It's kind of coalescing a little bit better. It's a lot more dialogue, and I'm looking forward to the 3rd act because I got some serious debaucherous violence and humor, not humor, just violence. And when I wrote it before, I did a bunch of series of shots, and it's just doesn't do it. I want to write some prose for that instead. And I'm doing couple pages a day. It's kind of how I like to work kind of slow, but incremental and steady. And I guess after that, I'm going to try to do something for the Astoria Filmmakers competition for a film, maybe a silent film. I was throwing some ideas around with Shalom, and nothing's concrete yet. So then I got to make some money, and then we can try to make a film. I know you can make a film with a 0 budget, but I guess that's in Hollywood, not in the real world. So That's the extent of my work. So hopefully by next meeting or the following, I'll be done with this Two China's madness, and then I could maybe present a log line for the silent film. And then also I've been going to a lot of comedy clubs, trying to get a feel for that kind of world, because I want to write another feature, kind of Robert Altman does comedy, does Nashville, does Shortcuts, maybe a little bit of Sea of Love, and the documentary in Spinal Tap, something like that. That's what I've been thinking of, and that'll be a good one, because it'll definitely be a collaboration, because I know Shalom's a comedian, and I've been meeting more and more of them, and hopefully I can elicit them to write jokes, or maybe even base the characters on them if I get to know them better. Because I know one comedian I know, and her background is kind of tinged with a lot of distress, a lot of tragedy. So it's almost a testament to the human condition that you can sink all that down inside of your psyche, a very traumatic, sorrowful event, and come across as somebody who makes other people laugh. I think there's a big irony there. And that's kind of how I like to pursue that. My next project is every comedian will have a background which is almost ironic or parenthetical to what they are on stage. So for example, if they make a lot of jokes about growing up, maybe in their past they had a fucked up childhood, and so on and so on. But I like talking about it, because the more I can talk about it out loud, it kind of gets a little bit more concrete in my head. And that's it. Hopefully everybody has been well this week. Let me see. I have a joke for you. Well, I don't have a joke. I got a situation. All right. So recently I went to this speed dating thing, and I've been going to it pretty much regularly. I mean, notwithstanding the idea of meeting women, it's also the idea that this is a very interesting thing for maybe crime drama, or just a drama alone. This idea of like all these women and all these men are kind of hopping from table to table. So how it works is, at the end of the day, you fill out a form, and if the women there find you interesting, then they email you back. But the guy who ran it, he got the emails mixed up. So you were thinking that you were emailing one woman, but you were actually emailing another. Now, if you already had something set up with the other one, it really made you look like a cad. So I thought that was something very funny. He might have done it on purpose, the guy who ran it, just to fuck with everybody. But that would be something to put in a movie, that kind of situation. Like, that would be something that would get the character, put him in a not get him into trouble, not get him out of trouble, you know. But that's all I have to say. It's time for someone else to talk. I think I'm the last one, right? Right, Phil?
Unless Gustav wants to say hello, introduce himself, and Pablo's still with us, or Pharrell.
Gustav Winery?
That sounds like
Yeah, I suppose.
so. Little Johnny's in school one day, and it's a Friday, and the whole week the teacher's been teaching the kids about famous quotes. And so she gets up in front of class and says, "Okay, kids, I'm going to say a quote, and if you can correctly identify who said that quote first, you can go home right now and you get a 3-day weekend." All the kids are all excited about this, right? So she says, "Or score and 7 years ago." And little Mary raises her hand. "Go ahead, little Mary." And little Mary says, "That was Abraham Lincoln." "Very good, little Mary." She gets on out of there. And he says, "Okay, never have so many owed so much to so few? And little Susie raised her hand. Go ahead, little Susie. Who was that? That was Winston Churchill. That's right, little Susie, you can go. Well, little Johnny's mad that he lost those two easy ones. And he says, I wish those girls just keep their mouths shut. And the teacher said, who said that? And he says, Harvey Weinstein. See you Monday.
Oh, God almighty. Uh, ew.
I like that joke. That one I like.
You got a story about Abraham Lincoln?
And no, nothing coming to me.
That's all right.
Uh,
Good jokes, everybody. Well, I guess we went around the horn. We got a decent 30 minutes to just kind of talk about, maybe something you might need help with, or some ideas, or just free fall. It's an open table. You talk about anything you'd like. I kind of spoke about the announcement I made earlier, which Melissa, did you hear about that? Oh, all right, no problem. What I was telling the guys before is that I had a nice meeting this afternoon, and one of the things in the early stages of the AFC was we were talking about, of course, creating content, but we didn't want to just limit creating content to just the visual platform. We wanted to develop filmmakers, no doubt, but we really wanted to develop original music to actually work alongside as movie soundtracks potentially. So I was talking to you might have met Rocky a couple times, but a good friend of his is a guy named Scott. And Scott kind of created this platform during the pandemic where, you could view live performances like, I don't know, a high school play, or you could actually have a pay-per-view option. And, he created something original. More power to him, gifted man. So we spoke a lot about what AFC is doing, what we've accomplished with the Triborough Film Festival. And what I really wanted to do that I ran by him was make sure we had a platform. Once we actually do complete all the podcast plays that we're working on, where do we put it? So he really loved the idea. So he's coming up with like a little beta space on what it could actually look like. And I actually got an email just about 10 minutes ago. The Astoria Filmmakers Club is a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So a lot of those resources in the chamber are at the disposal or at the disposal, whatever, of the AFC. And they had this free incubator space being offered to like a startup group. And I applied, and we got an interview. We got an interview tomorrow. And if everything works out and we do get that space, we're going to have a creative space, an incubator, I guess, somewhere in the Long Island City area, where we could kind of set up a little podcast play home base. And so, things today for me, I guess, are coming up on the bright side, more or less. But that's basically where we're at. You probably don't see it that much, but I guess in the back office, wheels are turning. Like I'm constantly like figuring out, solving problems, trying to like get us on track. I know a lot of you have been around for a few months, and I do appreciate your patience. And this is a very long, very complicated, hard process, but I think once we get the momentum going, there's going to be some uphill battles that we're going to have to overcome, no doubt. But I think with momentum and a ton of hands, we're going to get through it. And I think we're on our way to doing something really positive and really powerful. And I guess that's my spiel for the most part. But the table's open. Talk about what you want.
Not to be a downer, that's excellent news, and it shows that your hard work is paying off. So kudos to you. Everybody lifts their hands in support. Going back to that Harvey Weinstein thing, in the chain of my business daily workings, I peruse a lot of these government websites, litigation, And there was a building that was in foreclosure, and it was Harvey Weinstein's house on East 78th Street. And attached to that was a summons and complaint from a woman who was raped by him. And it's about 15 pages long, and it reads like a movie. I mean, the things, how he groomed this woman slowly. She went to the Catholic high school. No, she went to the School for the Performing Arts on Broadway in 78th, the same high school that they did Fame in. Okay, she was like 15, and I guess Gazelle saw her out front and convinced her to come. And then at first they do the massage, and it's kind of harmless and benign. And then he slowly starts indoctrinating her, and eventually he raped her. This is her complaint. And it's a very horrific document for something that's a legal document. I mean, this guy was an absolute fucking animal, man.
Yeah.
Absolute animal. But I have that if anybody wants to have it for like research or something.
You said Weinstein.
No, Epstein.
Oh, Epstein. Okay, I heard you said,
There's a difference. I forgot. There's a difference.
yeah, that guy was a I don't. Yeah, Jesus, man. Yeah.
They're both scum. No two ways about it.
Did you guys ever listen or read? I think it's Corey Feldman, one of the Goonies, when he got molested when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He had an audio book that he read, and I listened to that book a few years ago. But I remember feeling, like, I left a review, but I'm really glad, a lot of people are speaking out at this point and becoming brave, because like there was a movie done by I believe as they were older, that Brad Pitt was in it, Kevin Bacon was in it, Robert De Niro was in it. It was called The Sleepers. And that was a story about a group of kids from the 60s that accidentally killed somebody with a hot dog stand because it got pushed down the subway. And all four of them ended up going to prison, but getting molested by the guards during their time at juvenile, at juvie. So, fast forward, they reconnect a few of those guys grown up, and now it's the 80s, hostile New York City, Times Square. They cross paths with one of the guys who was one of the guards at the time. And the whole movie is based around that murder trial. Spoiler alert. But you ever think for a second that, men and women in Hollywood doing these things, can you have like a little bit of forward thinking that, one day this kid is going to grow up and, they're going to be able to defend themselves, And I'm sure it happened.
Thinking about getting off.
What's that?
In the moment, man, they probably just thinking about getting off. That's how strong those urges are. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's not just kids. You got a guy like Terry Crews that could have really hurt some, ended another human being's life for getting molested, at a party, by that agent guy. Right. I don't know, I can't even wrap my head around the idea of what would drive a human being to lose control, or I don't even know. It's, for me, it's
Actually,
it's
I can
unthinkable.
answer that question.
Oh.
Fortunately, what would drive somebody to do that is that they entertain those thoughts. Thoughts enter our heads from all kinds of different places. Emotions enter us from all kinds of different places. It's what we do with them that counts. So if I sit here and I dwell on a thought, on an emotion, on an urge, on a need, on something like that, I'm going to be more motivated to go in that direction. Whereas if I crowd that thought out with positive thoughts or other thoughts, then I won't be. It will simply just be an annoyance over and over again that can be, and the more times you ignore it, the easier it becomes to ignore. Yeah. So that's
got to be
my
a
point.
spiritual battle too,
Well, yeah, you can bring demons into this, definitely. No two ways about it. It's easy. That's what my story is about. That's exactly what my one that we all read, however long ago that was. That's exactly what it's about. And I still got to get that thing made, but my God, I am so broke right now. I am still working to try to get myself out of debt. In the
No,
end,
that's-
I like to get to the point where I'm at least at zero. I don't need to be ahead, but I want to be at least at zero before I start making this thing. But yeah, once I hit that, I'll be hitting you up something fierce to help me out with all that. So hope you're all ready. I'm also going to start my own group. I'm calling it the Awesome Fighting Club.
why don't I just call it the Atlanta Filmmakers Club or something?
There
Like
you
that.
go.
We got the AFC. We'll just have the South AFC South.
Even better. I like that one even better.
Well, I mean, like we had a couple ideas, like like I didn't really plan this out. I didn't really think things through, but in the early stages, no, when we were talking in groups like this, my imagination kind of kicked in, and then of course I would just dwell on the thought of planning out. If it did happen, what is phase 2? Okay, if that happened, what could I do next? Where am I going to get this? Where am I going to get that? But the idea of actually having like an AFC West in California, an AFC outlet, like we have people from all around the planet living in Queens, and no doubt they got friends and family or filmmaking people back home wherever they came, whether it's in the UK, Ireland. You guys met Lalisi. She's from Ethiopia. Little details like that. We've met some people recently from Jamaica, the Bahamas, Cuba, Brazil, Venezuela filmmakers, Peruvian filmmakers, Japan. There was another one, India, of course, India. That's pretty popular, Bollywood and all. But that's what I mean. Like, it's not like you could like everybody. I treat everybody as if you're an ambassador, because you do represent yourself, where you're from, your neighborhood, this club, the whole 9 yards. But if we could establish a good, more or less, outpost or a settlement space, a good clubhouse in New York, it's more like if it was done here, it could be done anywhere.
I did want to ask why the meeting tonight was being recorded.
Yeah, because a lot of cool things happen, and it's just like, I don't know, like I've never been, like, we've been doing this for 3 years, and we never thought to, like, I thought about recording it, but I just didn't think it would be useful to anybody. But kind of give some people who did miss the call, who couldn't be on the call, to just like maybe tune in or listen in on what it was they missed, and maybe they want to talk about a subject the following week and just bring it to the table here.
I'm just glad you told us ahead of time, so I remember to put my pants back on.
It's no worries, man. But yeah, Corey Feldman recently, like, not to circle all the way back, he actually, like, I think he finally did identify the guy who was some sort of like very well-known casting director, who was basically, a child pedophile, like as opposed to an adult, a pedophile, during, like, I guess during the 80s when Corey was just a kid,
Yeah. You know what broke my heart recently? Because I kind of had a thing for her growing up. I used to watch Amanda Bynes growing up.
Wait a minute.
From the Amanda Show.
Yes.
She worked on Nickelodeon.
I was just watching Good Burger this afternoon.
Good Burger. That's a hell of it. Yeah, I could watch that anytime. But Amanda, she's been going through it lately, and she's been going through it for a while. And I found, everybody been talking about like how a lot of those kids shows that it was the same kind of skeeviness going on with these producers and stuff. And that, it sucked because I grew up in that time. Like, I would even see some of these people, be on the show. I'd be like, damn, I didn't know. I hope, I hope it's not true, but these actors grow up and they're all fucked up now. And it's like, that's just a horrible thing to do to, especially a kid, man. Because, when you're an adult, it's like you could tell somebody to fuck off. But when it's a kid and all you want to do is just, act and just do what you love, and then somebody take advantage of that, that's just evil. That's evil.
One thing that really bothers me a lot, and this might seem stupid, but if you go into Hollywood, I've seen pictures, people have posted pictures of this, Harvey Weinstein's star on Hollywood Boulevard, pristine. It's in good shape, hasn't been touched. Donald Trump's has been beaten with axes and hammers and sledge, and people shit on it and they piss on it. And I'm like, really? Who do you honestly think is more evil? I mean, if you really had to compare the two side by side, seriously. Maybe it's just me. I'm overreacting.
Well, you said it yourself. Like if people dwell on a thought long enough, they're going to act on it. And you know,
Yeah.
like, I don't condone hate. I don't. You could form an opinion about a person based on their behavior, their words. It's none of my business, but I'm not going to let anybody, get me to the point of anger. I'm definitely not going to give, somebody power over me. I'm in full control of my emotions. Regardless, like some of these people who do have a star, it's something I'm sure, like I've definitely thought about having one of my own someday to see if just I don't know if it's vanity, but I felt like, a little bit more like self-accomplishment, something to strive for.
Yeah.
There was a time.
Shit, I would love to have a star. Are you kidding me?
Well, so I mean, to
I
that
want
point,
three. I want 3 stars. One with my first name, one with my first and last, one first, middle, and last.
I'll make sure I'll make sure on the Queens Economy and Development Board that we start talking about bringing something here to Queens to drive tourism and attractions, because that's basically all it is out there. It's a way to actually bring people in front of those businesses, create tourism. It's supposed to be for fun, especially with a celebrity type of human being, like whatever. But to your point, no, I mean, like I don't think like destroying property is solvent in any way, shape, or form. Because like if you really want to make a difference, honestly, compete against that person at their own game, outperform them. Better person.
But they rigged the game now, so it's like, damn, it's like, I mean, we have no choice but to do what we're doing now and create our own thing, because they done, they rigged the game to the crazy levels now. So, but we could do it.
It's honestly, it's like a lot of it. To me, I try not to even think about it, because it's like not to put the blinders on, but I got a mission. I got a good God that I serve. I'm gonna just stay on that narrow path and just pursue that goal, not take my eye off the prize. I'll get distracted, I'll stop and go to the bathroom, but I'm not gonna take my mind off why I started what I started.
Nice.
There's no point. Like, I mean, when you grow up, you kind of got, time is on your side, but you don't got a lot. So trust in yourself, and just stay on the path.
And thankfully, I grow old, not up.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been going wider lately. I don't know. Like, it's probably just,
I'm growing in the wrong direction.
I'm becoming more of a sphere.
There you go. Well-rounded.
I'm a very well-rounded individual.
That's a good one.
There we go.
I'm rubbing off on all of you. I gotta get out of here because I just got my script for class tonight. I gotta go over that. I'm sure I'm gonna get needled like crazy about my beautiful headpiece here. I'll see you all next week, everyone.
No, use it. If anything, rip it off and make them see it, and then just look them right in the eye and just actually,
How you feel? Huh? You feel guilty? I hope you feel guilty making fun of the wounded. Yeah, right.
I have no doubt, Evans, you got such a great dramatic side when you actually take it not serious, but when you actually turn it on. I'm waiting to see that actor in you, dude.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah. I've got a couple of monologues I can do on that. Absolutely. Not a problem. See you all next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good luck. Break a leg.
Could I, what is, I saw yesterday that the Writers Guild is going to start accepting AI written screenplays. I was so fucking pissed off when I heard that, because it's like, that's just cheating. That's just what it is.
If it's on a podcast and we listen to it, so what?
Wow.
Anything AI, they can't copyright.
Really?
Any AI manufactured document, they cannot copyright. So if they come up with a good one, you just change a few things here and there and call it your own.
I still don't know how that works exactly. So what do? You get the program, you put in a few keywords or a few
No, you tell, I want a story about a cop who falls in love with the criminal and finds out that she's innocent, but it's too late because she pinned the crime on him.
So
And
you
he'll
just
write you a
provide an
story like
outline.
that.
You provide
Well,
an outline, and the AI does the rest.
Well, what someone's doing is feeding it screenplay after screenplay after screenplay, just reading them into it, because all really AI is just a huge database that gets better and better at compiling things and putting them into some kind of order. And it's very popular. And now it used to be free, at least the one for kids in high school. It was free. Now it's $20 a shot. And my kid said the best way to do it is just to make it $1,000 a use, and no kid would use it then because none could afford it.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, well, they'll pay the price. Well, $20 a shot is a lot. I mean, if you got to do it for every one of your homeworks, you know. But it's going on right now. Kids use that as a rule every day.
I think it's never going to replace the human element. I just don't think you could. I mean, of course, it's taking bits and pieces from, of course, things that were produced by humans, but it's like, as far as like constructing your own narrative, I just don't think you could replicate that.
It's ultimately going to be that everything is done through some kind of artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence will have a nexus with the animation and the sound, and it'll just be spitting out movies. Like I always say, you're going to have a little device on your wrist, and you're going to punch in there, I want a mystery, and they'll give you all the lists. Do you want it in a monastery? Do you want it in Washington, D.C.? So you make up you check them off. Do you want a femme fatale? Do you want a love triangle? You tell everything what you want in this movie, and then you hit a button and out it comes. Just this pre-made movie that you get to watch, because there'll come a time when there won't be any work for anybody. So it's either going to be drugs, video games, or videos. And there'll be a device to keep the people pacified.
So does that mean we don't have to pay taxes?
No. They're going to give you a stipend, but, quid pro quo. If you take the money, you got to do what they say. Become guinea pigs for their pharmaceutical toxology experiments. Be willing to live in a very substandard way of life, different than what we have, maybe smaller and not a lot of nature involved. I mean, they're going to turn the wilderness into like a museum, and no one will ever go there. And which is kind of like, if you think about upstate, the Adirondacks, it's like a park, right? And people live there, and I'd speak to them in bars, and they say, I don't live in a park, okay? And that's very true, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to segregate these pristine areas and just keep them off limits from people, because ultimately the people in those states or countries really don't own it. They've been collateralized or used as collateral for the debt these particular states or countries have taken with the IMF and these supranational lending organizations like International Monetary Fund, et cetera, et cetera. So that day is coming soon. And like what Shimo or my friend was saying about Hollywood, and it's very true that Hollywood is very elitist, because they make product for people who don't think like us, and that's not a broad statement either. They make product for people that have a very limited understanding that having discernment is something that is important in their lives. They're the same. They'll listen to ABC News, and if ABC News says, you got to stick your finger up your ass and put the remains in a test tube and send it off to Washington, they will do that, because they're easily led. It's a very sheep involved system. But like with what we're doing here, if we can make films or music or whatever, and we can actually try to say something which speaks the truth and other people can understand it, and that will lead to a chain reaction which makes it grow and grow and grow. It becomes very incremental then. And that's why I don't think Hollywood really is such a force. It is in the super hyper commercial way, but I would prefer to do something very small and show it to somebody. And if somebody says, "Oh, I get your point. I understand that," or "That's very interesting," it made me think a little different, because I'll never have $100 million budget or anything like that, but I can still make a piece of work or a piece of art which might speak to somebody in a way that enlightens them to a different kind of truth. And that's all that's left in this world. I mean, unless you want to work and pay taxes and own stuff, you know, but that's not for me, not anymore. Maybe for young people, because they want to have families and houses and things. But I don't want to own stuff. I want to speak to people in a way that makes them change the way they think. And film is the best. Film is absolutely the best, because it's the one medium that is universal. You know, I mean, you go to Russia and they know all about Rambo, right? Cannes Film Festival has American films. See, Hollywood is universal all over the world, so it speaks to a medium which isn't expensive or isn't inaccessible. I mean, a video camera, an idea, you get some people together, you can put together something that speaks to something that you want to enlighten people to. So Shalom, it's not all about Hollywood, right? Not all about Hollywood. In fact, people in Hollywood probably love to do small budget things because they get more artistic freedom. Because you know, those actors from the beginning of the day to the end are told exactly how to act and how to say that line. If they don't say it right, they'll fire them. And their chains are being pulled. You know, push comes to shove. If they have a successful film, they have to stand out there and say, "You know what? I think everyone should take a vaccine," even though they don't believe in it. They have to go against their personal values and their morals too, probably. Maybe they have to, you know, speaking to that pedophilia stuff. Maybe if you want to roll in a big film, you got to go to some like pedo fest. It's a director's house, just like that movie Babylon. It really had nothing to do with pedophilia in that movie, but it was just, you have to act like an animal in order for them to accept you into their club, because it's probably being filmed. So now they have some kind of something over your head, a piece of evidence that they can slip into the social media scene and destroy you if you go against their, or maybe if you betray their trust. Such as Hollywood, you know, such as Washington, D.C. too, for that matter, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised they still haven't. I was watching Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel because I hate him, but you know, he's talking about like, please don't release the Epstein list. Yeah. I'm like, why don't you want it released? That's kind of like a little obvious, you know. Why would you not want it? I mean, you know,
that list has been released. That's been released. Brad Pitt, Angela, everybody in Hollywood has been on that plane and been to that island and fucked little girls or little boys or whatever they do there. It's pretty sick, but you know, if you want the role, you gotta do what they tell you. It's, you know, unfortunately, they'll yank your chain.
That's why, you know, I'm so happy I met up with you guys and got involved with AFC, because like all you care about is just making film, or not just making film, but just telling the story and just doing what you love. And then, you know, it's like the bigger you get, that's the more special interest gets involved and whatnot. And, you know, just, I don't know, I'm tired of it, you know. Politics, all that stuff. It's like, what happens to just telling a good story, or just doing what happened to just doing what you love, you know?
You know, because on film, you're not directly associated with the necessary cynicalness of it or the message. Because generally, if you watch a film, you don't say, well, that director, he's a racist, or he's this or that. It's just a film. So you can kind of come across and say a point of view without it exactly going right at you. Unlike social media, if you do a tweet, right, or if you say something on some kind of platform, then they can go right to the heart of it and say you actually said it. But if it's a film, and anyway, films are very easily discernible into many things. I mean, it's very objective, so you can say, I never meant that at all. So it's actually the perfect medium. It just happens to be very laborious and time consuming, and there's a lot of moving parts, right?
Yeah. It's really not, I mean, you know, to make a film, I did a film class in 2014. And the basics of making a film is not too hard if you could just get a budget together. But, you know, as far as like, you know, it's just a few rules as far as like how you might want, you know, rule of thirds, field of depth, certain angles, transitions, cuts. It's not, you know, everybody has their own style, and you develop your own style, and then, you know, you got the software, you got the equipment, all the crew. It'll cost you a lot, but if you know what you're doing, the biggest thing to, you know, the main thing you'll need is money. But as far as like putting everything together, it's not too much that goes into making a film. But, you know, it's a lot, but it's not too much. You know, it won't overwhelm you. And I think that's what stops a lot of people from getting started. Like they feel it's going to be overwhelming. Again, depending on the scale of the project, you know, maybe you want to make something grandiose. I don't know. You know, you'll need a bigger budget. You'll need a lot more resources. But doing your own thing is not as tough as it used to be nowadays. So it's, you know, we could actually we don't need Hollywood. You know,
but the scarcest resource is the story. All that stuff can be bought or rented or hired. I mean, you can get great technicians and operators and best devices, but the idea to the story, or just the simplicityness or the complicatedness of it, that's really the scarce resource.
It's all in the story.
I don't know if I could agree with that entirely. As far as scarcity goes, I mean, there's probably some accessibility they have, like to Shalom's point. If you got some money in your pocket, you could probably get maybe you know, first choice or the highest bidder, especially if somebody came up with a good script. And I heard stories on the Larry King show when he was doing that Hulu show for a while, and he would have celebrities come on, and he would do like a one-on-one podcast TV show type of a shindig. And there were some actors, you know, who've, you know, made a decent living outside of acting, where they would just write scripts, they would sell them, and unfortunately they would just go hang up on a shelf for a while, you know, like in a stockpile where they're not actually being created, you know. So I'm sure there's a lot out there, but, you know, some people, they literally just make potential films as a sort of like a side gig. Whereas, like I said it once before, where everybody does have a story to tell, you know, like you guys said some very interesting things that, you know, cinematically from a character's perspective, you're making some really good points. You are, in the grand scheme of an entire story. That's probably just how my brain operates. But, you know, I find little bits and pieces of a puzzle and how to actually rearrange it to orchestrate it into an overall arc of a story. But I think, you know, the more you're around filmmakers, the more you're around film sets, the more movies you watch, the more you listen. Yeah, I got a lot of hours, not gonna lie. You do. You kind of just find a way to connect all these dots, where story is everywhere. There's story where you can get inspiration from, basically just from a horrible example is like music that you've never heard of before, but literally, like in my case, if I hear a song cinematically, something just starts coming into my head. If I see somebody passing me by, I just like I do for a moment, I just kind of imagine a short little narrative just based on every little detail I saw. The color of, I don't know, the shoes, the dirt under the fingernails. I look for all those things, and or I just pick up on them. Well, why did my dog make that sound today? I come up with a little story. Story is everywhere. It's in everything if you're open to receive it.
Mhm. That's true.
And
That's very true.
I think it's just a way to articulate it, because that takes time. And honestly, like one of the first things I learned when I was in acting school is like there's no such thing as good, bad, right, or wrong when it comes to like some story. The story is the story. It could be interpreted 1,000 different ways. That's the beauty of art, you know. And like dialogue is, you don't need dialogue for acting. Acting is behavior based, top to bottom, left to right. That's the nature of the beast. That's what an actor does. They engage almost like non-verbally. Writing, when it comes to like good storytelling, to what like maybe Gary was actually suggesting earlier, is that you are getting people to think, and there is always a story that you do want to tell, and your director, he kind of just knows how to navigate the entire ensemble to achieve that objective. So I always imagined, literally, being in the filmmaking business, you're a pirate, like a fancy like cartoon pirate, not like a pirate, but like a pirate. You're on a ship, you're on a vessel. You have a map, you have a captain, and you have a crew. And there's music, there's chaos, it's rocky, it's bumpy, it's wavy, you're going all over the place. My interpretation of literally being on a film set is going on top of the Jolly Roger, and I'm Peter Pan every single time, and I'm just pretending and having a great time the whole time, But there's honestly, there's story in everything. You just got to know where to look. Or start your own damn filmmakers club. Well, on that note, it's 8:38. Does anybody want to say or like add anything to the conversation before we wrap things up?
So I just, I you're right. There's inspiration everywhere. There's just gotta be open to it. It's tough sometimes because everybody's going through life, and they're thinking about other things. But if this is what you want to do, then yeah, you gotta get those creative juices flowing. Some people might partake. I don't know, that helps sometimes. Well, but yeah, even if you just look at your own life, it might not be too interesting to yourself, but you'll tell somebody, hey, I've been through this, or I've been here, been there. They'll be like, wow, that's interesting. Like, oh, write a story about it. It's not hard. It's just of course, once you getting started, it might be a little tough, but once you get into the flow of it, yeah. I'm working on my 6th screenplay just now. I just started yesterday. I'm almost at 20 pages. It's like one. Yeah, this will be the 6th one. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what fucked me up, man? I reached out to this producer that I got a hold of, and I was telling Gary about it yesterday, and I sent him like several screenplays, and I didn't hear anything back from him, but he got back to me yesterday, and he was just like, without looking for this genre right now. I write a lot of horror type stuff, and I felt kind of, I was disappointed, of course, but it actually just, it fueled me more than anything else. I was like, let me get started writing right now. I started writing like right after that. And like, it actually gave me inspiration. I was like, you know what? Let me make myself better. Let me like really, so that's inspiration,
Sure.
so, in a place where you probably wouldn't have expected it.
Congratulations, man. And honestly, no, that I think that's the best thing you could actually do is like literally like honestly make the guy gave you a lemon, just make lemonade out of it, take what you're given and literally just turn it into something creative, truly, something moving forward that I definitely want to do, maybe not necessarily on the Wednesday night calls because it's more of an intro. I'd like to actually get back to the writer's room because there was on every Sunday we were actually meeting up before I think it was the film festival. And then, of course, I just got sidetracked where we'd actually meet up on not Wednesdays, I'm sorry, on Sundays, where we would literally just go around at the writer's table and, similar to this and introduce ourselves. But now that we're kind of actually, coming into an open season where we got some more free time on our hands, where we could start developing and working on some projects, I would actually welcome everybody to join us on Sundays and share just one scene of your work at least once a week and give everybody in the writer's room especially an opportunity just to give you feedback on how to just like maybe structure it to help you build more momentum throughout your throughout your process of actually creating story. And that usually for the writer's room, that's really members only, where you guys are literally like you're watching each other's back, and like these are the type of things that we want to develop to be on the podcast platform, to go directly into the Triborough Film Festival platform, potentially even get on a streaming platform, but we got to start out small, I'm open to it. I've been working on a few scripts along the way. I got something that I could share with everybody starting on Sunday. Whoever shows up, if they want to read it during the week and get back to us the following week, we'll give it a shot. And it's open for everybody, or at least members only. So because if you're putting me to work and I want to give you good feedback, I'm going to give you good feedback based on what you give me. And we're going to do that literally just one scene at a time. And you could share us just that one movie, each scene throughout the entire, however long the movie is or whatever, every week. Come back, get your feedback, and we'll start writing some stuff.
If you want, somebody can just submit a screenplay on a Sunday and then give us a couple weeks to read it, and we can take some notes, and then we come back together and we all critique it in a group. And the writer, he has to defend it or explain it or understand that the criticism's coming in a good, positive way. Because if you just read one scene, you're not really getting the story. You may get a handle of how well that scene is made. And a scene essentially is a mini movie. Everybody understands that, but it would be good because then you get the totalitarian thing of the movie, like the theme and does it work and is it plausible? And I would like doing that. I mean, but it just seems that no one really likes to read.
Well, hence the podcast place.
Yeah, no one likes to read.
Do baby steps, one scene at a time, because if it's clear and if you want to talk about it, if the scene works, from a critique point of view on like no big mistakes, where you just literally got to let the writer do his job, and plausibility in cinema, there's an invention called the camera. It's just like 100 years ago, could anybody have thought that you could actually watch a movie like the Avengers or like Infinity War or things like that? Plausibility, there's no such thing. Like, not to be the ball buster or the guy who's optimistic all the time, but it's just like, when you just take a step back, look at humanity in itself, how incredible it actually is, and things are what they are. and definitely like have a conversation about certain things, but that's what I mean though. And I'm all for reading full scripts. I kind of have a little bit of spare time, but I really don't. I'm the president. I got interns. Let them read it. Like I want to read it, I do, but I can over the course of a year. Like there's 6 people on this call. I could read 6 small scenes for this, like one every single day, or even 2 a day when they're little like that, and really write down notes. I definitely have one bite at a time to knock out the elephant type of availability. That I can do. 2 hours? Ugh, no, I get burnt out real quick.
Yeah.
That's just me. Like right now, it's like I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
I know what you're talking about. I really don't even watch films. And I don't really watch, like these blockbusters like Netflix and all, Hulu. I don't have time for it. Like I'm trying to create my own thing. I mean, it's something that it has to be great word of mouth before I sit down and devote 2 hours out of my time, because I'm busy trying to do my own thing. So, the Lord knows, you're running this whole organization. So I can imagine that.
so yeah, like yes, I'm sure you can imagine. And no, I really like the opening of your script with the psychiatrist and the patient, and they were just going back and forth talking. There were definitely some things that I caught on in my imagination that I wanted to ask you about, but maybe starting on Sundays where we could literally, collectively as a group start having these open table conversations.
I'm down. Definitely.
Well, it looks like everybody, for the most part, if they're not going to Atlanta, they're at class or they got to go to bed. And I actually got to take my puppy out for a walk because it looks like she's got to go to the bathroom. Does anybody have any questions, comments, good jokes or ideas before we wrap things up?
No, I'm good. It was a good meeting.
It's a good meeting. Yeah.
All right, so we'll follow up and we'll talk a little bit more about, kind of like reopening the round table to just like do literally one scene at a time. Because if we got 20 students coming in a week where we just want to like maybe read one scene a week or something like that, all right, that's fine. We'll keep it simple. One scene at literally one scene at a time. So on that note, Mario, Gary, Shalom, Gustav, of course, the mystery man in the car all the time. So in that case, we'll call it a night. That's a wrap. And we'll see you all again, if not next week, maybe on Sunday.
Awesome.
Excellent. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Great conversation, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Ciao for now. Alrighty then. You still with us? He's out. All right. Conversations. Just got to be patient with everybody, especially yourself. Well, for those of you who are actually who did tune in, if you would like to, have somebody give you some feedback of your work, I'm sure you're going to get a lot of notes that don't really quite help you grow as a writer, especially in the beginning. But you may get challenged by just the right collaborator, and who knows, you might have a great writing partner in the long run, just by showing up to the writer's room. And of course, like I'm looking for some feedback on some of the things I've written, and you're welcome to, like they're copywritten, through the guild and all that good stuff. And I'm not worried about plagiarism or anything like that. If you want to go ahead and make the movie, good. I want to watch it. I don't mind. All righty. Well, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to join us next week at 7:30 Eastern time every Wednesday, right here in the AFC. could go to www.astoriafilmmakers.org, click on the events, or there is a link also in the Triborough Film Festival. We're right on the calendar. You'll see a direct link to hop on the call. You can reach out to our email or Instagram, afc.moreinfo@gmail.com. And that's about it. Ciao for now. And that's pretty much it. Good conversation. And actually, I did want to actually leave a challenge for everybody out there. There's this really good audiobook that I've been listening to called The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler. The Art of Impossible. He talks a lot about brain chemistry, things that I've really been picking up on. And once you're in creative flow, little things like that. And recently I heard a separate podcast, but kind of relating to this, as far as once you get in that productive mode and how essential sleep is. Because when you're working 40 hours a week and you go into this this autopilot routine, and maybe you get burnt out along the way, especially if you're having a rough season. Biologically, are we being as productive? I'm finding out these little details. Literally, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not being productive. You're just kind of trading your time for money, but you're not really being productive. And I think there was a study done, I'm not sure the exact data, but it's in the hundreds of billions of dollars a year being lost due to sleep deprivation for I don't know if it's national GDP, but I thought it was interesting where we're overworking, and because we're overworking, we're not growing. Very similar to bodybuilding, because if you do overtrain, it's counterproductive. And I think we do. We gotta look at ourselves and our standards of 40 hours a week or whatever have you not. Why is it possible to get the same amount of work done in a 25-hour work week as opposed to a 40-hour work week? And if that's the case, can you just have the same exact salary, achieve the exact same amount of work, if not perform better, by working 25 hours instead of 40? Is that possible? Or are we just going to pay them by the hour and that's it? I don't know. I think I don't even think it's too complicated. I just don't think by working for everybody else and saving nothing at the end of it all is the way to live. It's not. And you kind of think, well, what choice do you have? Everybody has a choice. You do. Sometimes you're obligated to do certain things, but you do always have a choice. And I guess that's it. If you can, get your hands on the book, The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler or Kotler. So I like it so far, and I highly recommend it. I got 139 audio books that I've listened to so far. I'm an audiobook freak. I love listening to books. But that's it. Now I'm just ranting, and I'm a little tired. I woke up at 4 this morning to the little one had to go bathroom, and I'm not a morning person, as most of you already know. All righty, I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. If not, in the writer's room. Ciao for now.